Hi.
Hi. So I'm going to ask you to mute, okay? I know you're super excited, me too. And we will have time for questions in the chat after the program. All right, so thank you so much everyone for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we are so thankful that Amy from Willow Creek Veterinarian Center is here with us today. Say hi to Miss Amy. I'll give her a big wave, right? So she's gonna read us 2 stories and we will have time to ask some questions afterwards. But before we get started, I just want to let you guys know a couple different things. So if you can just make sure that your audio stays off so that we can hear Amy super well, that would be fantastic. Also, as we mentioned previously, we are recording this program. So if you'd like to keep your video turned off, you definitely can do that as well. We do have summer quest going on right now. We've been having it happening since the beginning of June, and it's all virtual this year because of COVID-19, but that doesn't mean it's fun. That means it's awesome. So if you guys have not registered yet, you can actually go to wernersville.readsquared.com, and I'll make sure to type that into the chat if you weren't aware that we were doing that. You can earn virtual badges, points. You can get points towards raffle prizes, which are chances to win those. So it's a lot of fun things. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing this special story time.
Hi.
Hi. So make sure your audio is muted, okay? Because we're going to hand it over to Amy in a second, and we want to be able to hear her. Thank you so much. Okay, so Amy, I'm actually going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself and read us some awesome books.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name's Amy. I am a certified veterinary technician. I work here at Willow Creek.
Hello.
Hi. And your lovely Miss Tara dropped off 2 books for me to read to you guys today, both about animals. That is what I do. That's my profession. So I'm going to start with, it's called A Kitten's Tale. And I'm going to stand off to the side so you guys can see the pictures. Once there were 4 kittens who had never seen snow. Snow scares me, said the first kitten. When winter comes, the snow will fall, and we will be cold. Freezing cold, said the second kitten. Cold to the tips of our tails, said the third kitten. Doesn't look like they're looking forward to any snow this year. But the 4th kitten said, I can't wait. When spring rains gave way to long summer days, the first kitten said, today is sunny and warm, but someday snow will fall, and will be cold and wet. Soaking wet, said the second kitten. Wet down to our bones, said the third kitten. Seems like they're still not ready for the snow. But the 4th kitten said, I can't wait. When autumn winds ruffled the trees, the first kitten said, soon the snow will fall and fall. We'll be cold and wet, and snow will cover everything. Piles and drifts, said the second kitten. Heaps to our whiskers, said the third kitten. Still, the 4th kitten said, I can't wait. Sounds like he's a little excited for some snow. Then one winter morning, the kittens woke to snow. Look at them all hiding. But the 4th kitten didn't hide. It looks like he's headed outside to go play. He jumped and rolled and laughed. Snow! It's cold and wet and covers everything. See him out here playing in the snow. And it looks like these guys, the other 3 kittens, might join him. We'll be right out. Sounds like they're coming out to play too. I can't wait. And it looks like even though they were all a little nervous about the snow, they all went outside and had a good time. and played all day. So that was your first book about some kittens. And our second book that I'm going to read today is called Bark George by Jules Pfeiffer. So this is George's mother. And George's mother said, "Bark, George." George went meow. That's not the sound a dog makes, you guys think? "No, George," said George's mother. "Cats go meow. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went quack, quack. Well, that's strange, a dog making a quack, quack noise. "No, George," said George's mother. "Ducks go quack, quack. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went oink. "No, George," said George's mother. "Pigs go oink. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went moo. Sounds like George's mom is getting a little worried about him not barking. George's mother took George to the vet. "I'll soon get to the bottom of this," said the vet. "Please bark, George." George went meow. The vet reached deep down inside George and pulled out a cat. Well, no wonder George is making funny noises. It sounds like he's got a lot more than a cat in there. "Bark again, George." George went quack, quack. The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. "Bark again, George." George went oink. The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out I bet you guys can guess this one, and pulled out a pig. "Bark again, George." George went moo. The vet put on his longest latex glove. Then he reached down deep, 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 deep down inside of George, and he pulled out a cow, a whole cow. "Bark again, George." George went arf. Sounds like we got George on the right track finally. George's mother was so thrilled that she gave the vet a kiss, and it looks like a big sloppy kiss too. And the cat and the duck and the pig and the cow, everyone that was inside of George making him make these noises. On the way home, she wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. So she said, "Bark, George." And George went, "Hello."
That was such a fantastic story, Amy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that we all super enjoyed that. So, can you tell us more what it's like to do your job?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Yeah, if you could tell us more about what you do in your job or what your position is, we would love to hear about it.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm a certified vet tech, means that I went to actually college to become and do what I do. Basically what we are is animal nurses. That's what I do every day. I'm actually a supervisor here, so I help, do everything for everyone and try to keep everyone on the same page. But we help take temperatures for animals. We help hold the animals for the veterinarians. We help do surgical procedures and get animals ready for surgeries. And then if your dog or cat or any of your pets were ever to get sick, and if they come to us, a lot of the times it's the veterinary technicians that monitor them and make sure that they're feeling good and get them the medications that they need while they're here. So that's kind of what it entails on a small scale. But like I said, we are basically animal nurses. So anything that your nurse would do to you, we can pretty much do to animals.
That's awesome. I love hearing about that. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks. Could you tell us more about what you would wear to your job?
Hi.
Hi.
So,
Let's keep your audio off, okay, please? Thank you.
what we wear to the job, same with your nurses at your doctor's office. They wear what's called scrubs. So I have my purple owl and blue owl scrub top on and my scrub pants and sneakers because we're on the move all day. And scrubs help us basically so we don't get our clothing dirty and things like that. So and they're lightweight, so it keeps us cooler during these hot days as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. Do you happen to have a favorite type of pet?
I do. I actually personally, I'm a dog lover. I have 4 dogs and a cat.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, they're definitely my favorite. But I also had goats in the past. I have chickens, so I have a fair amount of animals, and I'd love to get more. But they are timely. Anyone who owns a pet knows that you have to take care of them properly. So I'm at my max for now.
Aw. Well, let's see. Is there anything that you'd like to share with us about your job? Like, what inspired you to be in your position?
So what inspired me? I actually was a certified teacher
Oh,
before I went into this career, but found that my love of animals was just too much to forget about.
aw.
So I went back to school and I decided to go this route. And it's just really nice to be able to help a creature that basically can't speak for itself and be their advocate. So if any of you guys would ever want to get into something like this, definitely have to have a passion for caring for animals. So if you guys are really involved in taking care of your pets at home, it might be something that you want to check out later in your futures.
That's so cool. I love that. It's just such an inspiration. And I can even say, I love your veterinary office so much. I actually bring my 2 kitty cats to your office. And really, they do the best there. They do much better there than other places. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, my whole team, the whole team of ladies here, most of us are all girls. There is a male doctor, but most of us are all girls, and we really, really just love animals, and we want to help them the best we can.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I think this is a good point for us to go into the chat, kids. So I'm going to actually ask you to either type yourself or ask for a parent's help to type some questions into the chat that we can ask of Amy. And then that way, that's an easier way because we have a couple of you in here and it would be really difficult to hear everyone at once. That's why I have been muting you if you have been turning on the audio, just because it's really hard to hear her that way. But if you can go into the chat, you can ask her what it's like to work at a veterinary office or anything really about animals. So we'll give it a moment here to see if anyone has any questions. And I'll think of some too.
I do.
You have a question? Can you do me a favor? Can you type it in the chat for me, please? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know it's so exciting and I want to talk to her too, but I just want everyone to be able to have a chance. Or if you even want to tell us what kind of pets you have, and maybe Amy would love those kind of pets as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
Let's see. Well, like I said, I have 2 calico cats, and I love them to bits.
Yes, I do have a soft spot for kitties too, but the dogs kind of rule my house.
Let's see. Does anyone have any questions for Amy? Oh, hold on. I think we got one. Aha. Okay, Harper would like to know, what is your favorite animal? And they have a dog and 3 cats.
I see. So my favorite animal is actually a dog, but more specifically, I own boxers.
Oh,
So that's a breed of dog. And I have, like I said, I have 4 of them. They are just the loves of my lives.
aw, that's so awesome. Um, let's see. How long have you been in your position?
I have been in the supervisor position for a little over a year. It was in the middle of my maternity leave. I just had a little one about 6 months
Aw,
ago, so
congratulations.
thank you. So yeah, it's been about a year, but I've been a vet tech for going on 5 years, I believe.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Such dedication too. Let's see. Oh, so Harper would like to know, do you work in an office or do you go to farms?
So we work in an office. However, there is a veterinary clinic that is technically separate behind us. They do all the farm work. So they'll go
Hmm.
if you have horses or ponies or something like that, and they'll actually go out on the farm. But we here at the Willow Creek Small Animal basically see your dogs and your cats. Sometimes we'll see like rabbits or ferrets if you guys have some small exotics. Some of our doctors are a little well versed in those areas as well.
Very cool. Let's see. Do you think you could, this is actually a question from me. Do you think you could walk us through how a normal vet visit would go? So if someone had never had a pet before and they just got one, how that would go for them?
Sure. So, especially if you guys get puppies or kittens, we like to see them fairly frequently while they're growing up. All puppies and kittens require vaccinations, and they require a series of vaccinations. So, if you would call with a healthy pet, so to speak, you would come into the office and we make sure that their heart sounds good, their lungs sound good. We look at their skin and their hair and their eyes and make sure that they're growing or they're grown and they all look healthy. And then we give them their vaccines, usually yearly. Now they can go on an every 3 year, but the first time that they come, they get yearly vaccines. And we vaccinate them for rabies is the biggest vaccine that you guys should all be aware of. But there's also other vaccines, especially differences between dogs and cats that the doctor would then talk to you about to see what fits best for your pet, and they talk to you about those things and preventatives and what your dogs or cats would be exposed to in your lifestyle. So if you take them for walks or if they go outside, things like that. So we always basically determine our care and determine what we're doing based on what families would have plans for their pets.
Okay. That's really interesting. I think we probably all think that's very interesting too, because if you've never had a pet before, you wouldn't necessarily know what would happen or how that would go.
Yep.
So I think that's great. I'm trying to think of other things. Does anyone else have any other questions about what it's like to be a vet tech manager? Or I'm trying to think of some good ones. It's difficult sometimes. Um, let's see. So, okay, animals wise, you mentioned that there's a separate vet office next to your building. Um,
Yep.
do you only see dogs and cats, or do you see other types of pets?
So actually we do. So I kind of mentioned we mostly see dogs and cats. Sometimes rats, mice, rabbits,
Mm,
ferrets, those small animal, like exotic type pets.
hmm.
No reptiles, unfortunately. We save those for the reptile people because they're a little bit harder to determine what's going on and they're a lot smaller. But the
Sure.
one really fun thing that we see is we see pigs.
Oh,
So we see potbelly pigs here. We have two doctors that see them, and we actually do spays and neuters on them as well. That's a very important part of their health care.
oh my gosh, that's so interesting. I never would have guessed that.
Yep, so if you ever come in here and you hear something screaming, it's probably a pig.
It's probably a pig. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. Oh, that's a great question. Harper would like to know, have you ever been bitten by something?
So yes, actually, I have by a really big dog one time. Now he was under anesthesia, so he didn't really know what was going on. So I don't think that it was purposefully done, but he did, and I had to get stitches in my hand.
Oh,
So it is something that when you're in this field, you have to be very careful of because animals don't always understand what we're trying to do with them, and we have to try to read them the best that we can to make sure that we know if they're feeling uncomfortable so that we can protect them but protect ourselves as well, because that
sure.
is the way they defend themselves. They can't tell us, hey, no, please stop that. They either growl or rumble or hiss or something like that, but sometimes they use their teeth which is a little scary, but like I said, it's just always something that we have to try to best understand their wants and needs, and we just try to make everyone as safe as possible, and keep the animals safe as possible too.
Sure. No, that's a great explanation because I hadn't even thought about that, but that is true when you're working with animals. If they get scared, just like people get scared, sometimes we react differently, right? Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. Let me just double check here that we're still muted. Oh, let's see, have you seen and worked on any lizards?
So I personally haven't worked on any lizards, but I have taken care of lizards. I actually owned one at one point in time. They're very cool. I really like lizards. But like I said before, some of those reptiles, they're really hard to figure out what's going on with them. They're a lot smaller. They're hard to get blood samples from. A lot of times in the veterinary field, the best way to find out what's going on with your pet, your dog or your cat, or even your reptiles is to draw blood, which is another thing we as vet nurses do. But like I said, it's just really hard to do with those small animals because they have itty bitty veins compared to like a dog or a cat.
Sorry, I had my mute on. That would definitely make sense because you would think like, oh, they're like me, and they kind of are, but they're very different as well. So
Yep.
that's super interesting. And I really like lizards too. So that was a really good question, Harper. Thank you so much. All right. So Amy, is there anything else that you would like to leave us with about your position or your job or anything as we head out of the program?
Just that I really love what I do, and I hope that if you guys ever have any pets, or if you have some, you come visit and take them to your vet. Your vet doesn't have to be necessarily where I work, but make sure that you follow up with your animal care and that you know what goes into caring for them, because there is a lot that goes into caring for animals.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, let me just double check here. Sorry.
That's okay.
Technical difficulty. Let's see. Harper, if you need to ask something, please type it in the chat for me, okay? You're doing great, though. I can see the questions. They definitely are coming through.
I didn't ask something.
Okay, do you mind, okay, since we're at the end of the program, you can definitely ask it this way, but you'll be the last question because Amy does have to get back to work because she's a busy lady. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, what's your question, Harper?
This is Reagan.
Oh, it's Reagan. Okay, what's your question, Reagan?
Oh, sorry, Reagan. I'm looking at the wrong name. I apologize. So go ahead. What's your question, Reagan?
Yeah.
Should I tell her she's a rescue from Kuwait?
This is Dottie.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Sorry,
That's
the way that I'm
cute.
recording, I can't see everyone else. So I didn't know that you were holding them up. I'm so sorry. That's cool, though. Thank you for sharing your pet with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like we have one last question. Thanks again, Reagan. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't have everyone else's screen up, so I can't see it. We had one last question, Amy. It was, do you watch any vet shows?
That's funny. Yeah, all the time. I like to watch vet shows all the time, just to learn more, because a lot of the vet shows aren't done the same way we do things, because they're out in like those out west. So they do some things a little differently. They're on the road a lot more, so I definitely find them to be interesting, and I like watching them a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. That was a good question. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're actually at the end of our program. I do want to thank you so much, Amy. It's made such a difference for you.
I have to show you something else.
Well, hold on one second, okay? Because we're talking right now, and then we can look in a second. But thank you so much for taking your time out of your day. We super appreciate it. I just want to ask everyone again, if you haven't typed in the chat, how many of you are attending from your household? We would love to see that just so we can keep track for our stats. But we want to thank Amy again. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It was nice to see all you guys. I'm glad you guys let me read you a story and talk about what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for asking your questions and sharing some really cool things with us as well, even your pets.
Ask something.
All right, so we're going to join each other another day. We'll have another story time coming up in 2 weeks, so make sure you look out for that as well.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Something.
Okay, go ahead. Hurry up.
I have to show you something.
Oh.
Oh, very cool. All
Very
right.
nice.
Thank you so much. Well, Miss Amy does have to get back to her job, but thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. I'll see you later.
All right, sounds great. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.